Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335. Or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 7025 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
This is Her Flow from Hot 702.5 FM. Las Vegas, looking for a winner takes all way to burn off that extra energy? Welcome to Bouncy World, the ultimate climate-controlled indoor playground. We're stacking the deck with specials all week long. Cool off with Frosty Tuesdays featuring ice-cold treats for the kids. Then join us for free popcorn Thursdays because nothing beats a salty snack after a giant bounce. And at Bouncy World, we believe every child deserves their moment to soar. Join us every Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. for Sensory Sundays. We dim the lights and turn off the music to create a calm, inclusive space designed specifically for our newer, diverse community. At Bouncy World, we fly high. From high-flying fun to inclusive play, we've got it all. Visit us at bouncyworldlv.com to book your party or check our open play hours. Bouncy World, jump into the fun today.
Hi. Hey. What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Carice, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back once again to this wonderful week like we've done before so many times. I'm going to give y'all, actually, I want to, my week in review, I typically give y'all a little rundown. Overall, I will say one thing about the week was me and my daughter had her first official daddy-daughter dance. The one from February, I guess that was a sweethearts dance, like a Valentine's Day dance. But we still made it work for the daddy-daughter dance this Thursday. They actually had a dance battle, and, I came out on top and I won with some Michael Jackson moves that I had did, all of the kids letting it be known, they let the kids choose it, man. It was a lot of love from the children. It was like, nah, in the gold, he won. It was pretty fun. My daughter was pretty happy to see it. She told me to go out there and win it. So I went out there and won it. They gave me a hat and it says Girl Dad on it, which is great. So that's my new favorite hat. One of my new favorite hats. But other than that, the rest of the week was just very long, very, very long. It was exhausting. It was a lot going on. I actually wrote a new poem, and I'm going to use that to talk about the last week that I had and how heavy it was. And then I'll get into the topics for today. They are kind of unrelated, but I'm going to write say the poem anyway, because I wrote it to specifically say it on air. Try to be very, very not detailed too much, but how do I say it? I try to use my words well this time around. So let's see if it is. Let's see if you guys enjoy it. The title of this poem is called Full Blown Collision. And I did feel like it would be no better place to share this for the first time than here with you all on the show. As you know, I try to focus on a lot of mental health issues and things like that. So hopefully a lot of you will understand. If not, my door is open for questions if you do have them, Again, it's titled Full Blown Collision. I'm gonna get right into it. So this is more than sadness. This is a full blown collision. Ain't no fairy tale feeling. This that quiet demolition. No genie, no wishes, just a soul in submission. Heart beating out of rhythm like it's lost its own permission. Something like drowning, but the water ain't visible. Smiling on the surface while the pain feel invincible. Mirror conversations getting way too critical. Fighting with myself like my reflection getting physical. See, I ain't just hurting. I was breaking in silence. Turning every thought into a form of self-violence. Mind full of noise, but the room full of quiet. Trying to find peace while my demons start a riot. Listen, this ain't a cry for attention. This is a war with existence. Every second felt heavy, like I'm dragging resistance. Asking God questions, but I'm dodging the distance. Like if he answered too quick, I might lose my persistence. I gripped the wheel of my life, but I wasn't steering. Foot on the gas, but I ain't know what I was nearing. Vision getting blurry, but the end looking clearer, like death was the only thing that felt a little nearer. And that's scary. When peace starts to look like an exit sign glowing, when the pain gets so loud, it's the only thing showing. When your chest feel hollow, but your tears ain't flowing, and you smile for the world, but inside you ain't going. I remember that moment, that edge, that decision, where the line between life and goodbye got precision, where breathing felt optional and hope felt like fiction, and I almost convinced myself pain was my mission. But something in me ain't fold all the way. Maybe God, maybe love, maybe one thing he ain't let stray. Maybe every silent prayer I forgot that I prayed came back all at once and said, you still gotta say. Now I'm here, scarred but breathing. Yeah, I carry the proof. Every crack in my soul is a window to truth. I done stood in the fire, felt the heat face the roof, and walked out still standing. Ain't that wild? That's the truth. See this pain? Yeah, it cut, but it sharpened my sight. Gave me darkness so deep, I learned the value of the light. I was losing myself in the middle of the fight, but surviving myself might be the realest insight. So if you hear me, this ain't just a poem. This is a soul being stitched. This is a man who was broken but refused to stay fixed. This is a testimony written where the pain once existed. This is me choosing to live when I almost dismissed it. And I had to, get that together this past week, but it was some of my best work, I will say. Put a lot of metaphors in there in a way, but it was just more so of trying to bring light to the situation, But it was turned out good. And, I was kind of happy that I'll be able to share that with you all publicly after going, I don't know how many times I told myself not to do it and to do it and not to, but I wouldn't be fair to come out here and talk every week and then not want to actually put out something that I created myself over it. So I hope y'all like it. Any questions, please let me know. But I just, it's been a while since I dabbled in my poetry. So lately I've been in my bag again, trying to get back to it. And I think that was pretty good for a first roundabout again. So I know I could do more and do better, and I'll continue with that. But I'm just happy to be able to get back into that part of my life. Writing used to always make me kind of feel better. I was able to put it down on paper, get it out of my system some way, somehow. But I can do it in a way of showcasing my skills and talent while doing so. So it's pretty cool. Glad to have it. Glad to have it. I actually went and got me a new book. If y'all didn't see recently, I got me a new book to start writing in because the old one is just is done for. All right. I still got all the stuff in there, but that book is out of pages. All right. It's time for a new one. um, but today, on the show today, I do want to talk about something that it kind of will trickle into next show as well. It'll be like I might have this like a 2 or 3 episode kind of thing because it's pretty. I don't want to say it'll be pretty lengthy, but it's just a lot to it that I want to talk about, and I want to go about it from different angles as I talk about this actual thing from different perspectives of it being there. The first thing I want to talk about is biting the hand that feeds you. I think a lot of people, when you hear that, a lot of people go straight to financials, and money, but I think it's more to it than just financially providing for somebody. I think when you say biting the hand that feeds you, there's more to it. And I'm kind of going to give you a rundown of how I feel about that. Like, honestly, have you ever been there for somebody, like really been there? And instead of appreciation, you get, attitude, disrespect, distance. Like somehow you became the problem. I'm sure we've all probably felt that before, some way, shape, or form, for being the one that showed up pretty much. So tonight we will talk about that biting the hand that feeds you. Most people think that phrase is about money again, but let's expand that because some of the most valuable things in your life ain't got nothing to do with money. If you ask me, nothing to do with it at all. The hand that feeds you might be the person that checks on your mental, the one that keeps you grounded, the one that opens doors for you, the one that gives you opportunities, or the one that believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. Like, we have different kind of forms on what that may look like. That's the hand that we're talking about today. And biting it, that ain't always loud, right? So I'm not saying you being out front and everybody see it as public. What I mean by that is sometimes it's you ignoring them. Sometimes it's you talking crazy to them. Sometimes it's you taking them for granted, as well as only calling when you need something, as well as acting like what they do is expected instead of appreciated, right? And we've all kind of been there before. The crazy part is a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it. It's just like so natural that it just, to them, it's just, hey, this is how life is supposed to go, right? But I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people get comfortable. They get real comfortable with the situation, so they don't feel like they need to show appreciation or acknowledgement no more. Comfort is one of the most dangerous places in any kind of relationship. I don't care what you say, because comfort without gratitude turns into straight entitlement. And the only thing you're entitled to is your name. You know what I mean? You get used to somebody being there. So now, since you're so used to being there, you stop thanking them, right? I don't need to say thank you no more because you always do this. You stop acknowledging their effort. I don't need to tell you trying because you always trying. You stop showing up the same way because you feel like that they're going to keep doing what they do regardless of how you show up. And now what used to be appreciated becomes expected, right? It becomes expected. That's when the biting starts, okay? Not out of hate, but out of lack of awareness. Now, do you ever notice that people will treat strangers better than the people closer to them? Anybody ever notice that? I have sometimes. They're polite in public, but disrespectful in private. Why? Because they think people closest to them ain't going nowhere. So there's no need for me to treat you with that proper respect or acknowledgement when I know you ain't going nowhere, or I feel like you ain't going nowhere. But that's the lie right there. That's the lie in itself. Because let's be fair. Every hand that feeds you, it ain't a good one. It ain't a good one at all. Sometimes you got these people, these hands that are feeding you to control you, just to control you. Or they're feeding you just to give, just to remind you later, hey, this is what I did for you. Or just to help or hold it over your head, like I helped you out or I can help you, but you got to do. That's not really feeding you to me. That's ownership, like they trying to own you. You know what I mean? That's not a good sign. And in those situations, yeah, you might need to separate, of course, because appreciation should never feel like a debt. I should never feel like that I owe you something because of the appreciation. That's not what it should be. But don't confuse a controlling hand with a caring one, because I think a lot of the times we do confuse a controlling hand with a caring hand and we get it mixed up, which is why I want to talk about this today and maybe next week too. Some people will call something toxic just to avoid being accountable. It's easier to say, no, that ain't it. That's just toxic. That's bad for business. Just to be like, you know what? Maybe I played a part in that I need to fix or correct, So let me tell you something real. Even the strongest person gets tired. I make this reference all the time. Even Superman himself transforms into Clark Kent. Y'all think Clark Kent turns into Superman, and no, that's the other way around. Superman turns into Clark Kent. He's Superman himself. He's always will be Superman. Him. Kal-El, that's him. But he goes into Clark Kent when he needs that break, when he's trying to escape from being the superhero. You know what I mean? Even the strongest person will get tired. Even Superman has to hang his cape up sometimes. And we don't realize that. But you don't realize it because, that one that always checks on you, they get tired. The one that always forgives you, they get tired. The one that always shows up for you wherever you need them, they get tired, and here's the dangerous part. They don't always announce it. They're not going to sit up there and tell you that they're tired because they're trying to support and help you. Sometimes they just change because they're like, damn, you don't even notice it enough to even acknowledge it. You just feel like it's supposed to be there. You're entitled, like you should have it. They stop arguing with you. They stop explaining. They stop trying. And people mistake that for, they acting different. No, they're just done. They're not acting any kind of way. They just done. That's what happens when you keep biting the hand that feeds you. That's exactly what happens. They get tired. They get over it. They don't want to deal with it no more. They don't. They over it. They be like, all right, I'm good. I don't want to deal with this now. Now I'm going to go on to the next thing. It's horrible to make somebody feel like that they have to sit there and deal with disrespect because you want them to, because you feel like you deserve something. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. So let's talk about relationships without making it about any one person, but making it about everybody. Okay. You got people out here that are begging for love, for consistency. They begging for the smallest piece of effort, that comes along with it. But then when they get it, they don't even know how to handle it. Everybody wants something good in their life. And when they get that something good, they don't know how to appreciate or handle it. They always misuse and abuse it for some reason, for the most part. Not all, I wouldn't say all the time, but most of the time. They test it, they push it, they neglect it. Everything they ask for, they push, neglect, and test it. And then they wonder why I don't feel the same no more. Well, hello. Have you been realizing what you've been doing? Have you been thinking about what you've been doing? No, I didn't think so. Because you can't keep damaging something and expect it to function like it's brand new. That's like me taking my phone and I'm going to throw it across the room 5 to 10 different times. But I expect my phone not to be cracked. I want it to run smooth. I want the camera to work so I can take good pictures. I want all of that to happen, even though I just threw it all across the room 10 to 20 different times. That's not going to happen. I just abused it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work the same. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. Some people don't lose good people. That's what I want y'all to understand. Y'all say they lost them. No, they're not losing these good people. They are pushing them away slowly but surely. Over time, that person is getting tired and fed up of being the good person to you and only getting nothing but disrespect or aggression or violence. That's just not fair to anybody. That's not fair at all. I want to give you an accountability check, right? Because let's flip it. Let's flip it real quick, because it's easy to listen to this and think about somebody else, right? I'm pretty sure this whole time y'all probably had somebody in y'all mind y'all was thinking about when it came to it. But it's easy to listen to it and then think about somebody else. But tonight I want you to think about you, right? Just ask yourself, have I been ungrateful lately? Right? Have I been dismissive? Have I been receiving more than I give? Have I gotten too comfortable? Is what I want to know. Because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing until it's too late to fix it. Way too late to fix it. Then at that point, we're looking at the other person like, wait, you should have gave me a chance. But they like, I did. I gave you 1 million of them and you just didn't accept it. So now we're here. Now, if somebody is speeding you in any way, shape, or form, you are supposed to protect that, because they don't have to do it. They choose to. They choose to help you, and you just disrespect that. That's not cool. That's not fair. You have to respect that. You have to protect it, and you have to reciprocate that back to that person. Otherwise, it's going to look like it's one-sided, and what they're going to do sooner or later, bye-bye. I'll see you later. Or say, bye, have a good night. You know what I mean? Because anything you don't value, you will lose. I don't care what you say. If you don't value it, you will lose it. You don't believe me? Keep waiting. It's going to happen sooner or later. Gratitude is not, and it ain't just words. It's behavior and consistency. That's how you prove to somebody. That's how you prove you deserve what you have. Because if you don't have that change behavior and that consistency to show behind it, it seems like it's the same thing over and over again, over and over again. So let me speak to you with this. Some of y'all didn't lose people like you say you did. You lost access to the version of them that kept showing up for you. You kept biting and they kept bleeding until they realized they deserved better than being wounded by the same person they were trying to feed. So now it's not like they didn't stop just caring for you. They just stopped offering. And because they stopped offering, you feel like, oh man, that's crazy. But that silence you feel, that distance you notice, and that shift you don't understand, that's not confusion. That's the consequence to your actions. That's why you in the situation you in, because you have to finally see what you put somebody through. Like, I want you to repeat this. I want you to repeat this, all right? Or at least feel it. Feel it to me. I will no longer take genuine people for granted. I will recognize who shows up for me and honor that. I will not confuse comfort with permission to disrespect. I will move with gratitude, not entitlement. I will protect the hand that feed me, and I will remove myself from hands that try to control me. Right? I will be mindful that how I treat people today determines who remains in my life tomorrow. And most importantly, I will not wait until I lose something to realize its value. We're talking about what happens when that hand stops, right? Because we know sooner or later that hand is going to stop trying to feed you. Now, people think that the loss is loud, that it's just all out there. They think that it comes with arguments, door slamming, people walking out, but the real loss, it's quiet. You don't even hear it, let alone see it coming. It sounds like less checking in. I'm not going to see how you're doing that often, or less effort or less patience, because obviously all of that with you, it's gotten me nowhere. So why am I going to keep allowing myself to give you that when you don't take it, when you take it for granted, right? Same person, just not the same energy. And then it becomes a problem because the energy is shifted. But why did it shift? And that's when the confusion sets in. Why they change. You ever heard somebody say you changed? And the truth is, yeah, they did. They did change, but not for no reason. Like, people are not out here changing because y'all feel like that they just no longer want to deal with you or be around you. People are changing for valid reasons. They have a why to what's going on. You don't want to hear the why. You don't want to accept the why, but there is a why. There is. You just have to deal with that and learn from it, right? But they change when they feel unappreciated for too long, right? When they've been going through the same motions and efforts trying to get you to understand where they're coming from, but yet you don't see the true value in what they have to offer. Now it's to them, they looking like, well, I feel like you don't really care that I am, whether I'm here or not. And if I'm not beneficial to you, why am I around? If you don't like the fact that I'm trying to help you grow as a person, then let me step back and let you do it yourself and you can figure it out. And then they're the bad guy now because they stopped letting you disrespect them. That ain't fair at all. They feel unheard too often. So they tried to express to you what was going on, what the issues were, or what was bothering them, but you didn't even give them the opportunity to hear them out. You were probably listening with the intent to respond instead of the intent to understand. And what I mean by that is, some people, when I say listen to with the intent to respond, you're going to hear a word. And once you hear that word, you want to respond to that part of the conversation instead of fully letting somebody speak through and understand exactly what they're trying to say to you. It is honestly, to me, I think that's a roadblock that people need to get over. You know, you can't do that with people. You got to try to understand where they're coming from. Otherwise, you're just going to cause more confusion. And then it's going to be like, this is why I had to step back. Because you on the same bullshit. You ain't doing nothing different. You know, nothing different. Or they feel disrespected way too much, too consistently. They feel like disrespect is all they see from you. And you tell me one time somebody was okay with sitting there being disrespected time and time again while they were trying to feed somebody and not being like, you know what? Obviously, my hands ain't the ones you want to feed you, so let me go ahead and step away. That don't happen too often. Because if you continue to disrespect somebody when they're trying to help you grow and support you, you cannot get upset when they finally take their food back and say, you know what? I think you need to go find another dish because obviously this ain't the meal you wanted. Or I'm not the one you want to be serving it to you. Whatever the case may be, it is what it is. I'm not going to let you drive me into the ground because you choose to have another meal by somebody else. That's okay, but just say that. You know what I mean? Just say that. Because that change, it's usually the result of unaddressed pain. You know, and we know what unaddressed pain looks like, right? We know what that looks like when you're having so many issues and problems, but the person you want to resolve it or help you get through it, they don't want to, or they don't want to even bring it up the fact that you are hurting, you are in pain. They would rather have that holy moment of feeling like you're okay and everything is good to go because you're still in front of them breathing. So they don't want to think that you are in pain at all. And if you try to tell them you're in pain, they're going to tell you, no, you're not. You're not feeling like that. You're not feeling like that. Like, goddamn, I didn't know you knew how I felt. I didn't know you could tell me how I'm supposed to feel and then make me agree to how you think I feel. That's not true. That don't work like that. That's not the way this goes. Who told you that was the case? Let's correct that for him because we know that's not true at all. That's not true at all. Here's the part that nobody likes to admit, though. Sometimes you help create that change. You did. You got to talk about that silent withdrawal. Like, let me explain something dangerous. There's a stage before people leave where they emotionally detach, okay? They're still there physically, but mentally, they ain't nowhere to be gone, nowhere to be found. Mentally, they looking at you like, oh, what up? They'll walk around, they come to work the next day, look, y'all could have been best friends the day before, they'll come the next day, look at you like, how you doing? And you be like, dang, they must be having a bad day. That's what you automatically assume, they must be having a bad day, something wrong with them. But you don't think that maybe I caused something to have that happen. Because you see that person coming around and they greeting everybody else when they get to you like, oh, what's up? Obviously, the room speaks for itself, right? A wise man told me the other day is learn to read the room. Learn to read the room. You know what I mean? Now, again, mentally, they're gone. They don't really have too much to say to you. They don't have too much to offer anymore. The quietness is so surreal in everything that's going on. You're like, dang, I didn't even notice that all of this was happening. I didn't even know that I was doing so much to this person to make them just kind of want to disappear completely from me. Because they stop a lot. They stop explaining themselves. They stop arguing with you. They stop trying to fix things because in their mind, they already tried. In their soul, they've done everything they can to show you what it was that needed to be worked on and fixed. And you just ignore them or completely just dismissed everything they had going on. And then you turn around and say, wait, you didn't give me a chance. I don't know if we live in the same life right now, if we in the same reality, because I could have swore I gave you 20, 30, 50 million chances to correct this behavior and it just didn't happen. Because we all know that we give people more than one chance, right? We give people more than one chance. And it's okay because we're human and we all make mistakes, so you have to learn to give people grace. But when you give people so many chances and they still continue to disrespect you, still continue to do a disservice to you when it comes to that, you have no other choice but to say, you know what? Got to get up and walk away. I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. And once somebody feels like nothing I do matters anyway, nothing I do is going to change anything, that's when the hand stops feeding you, right? And then that's when they become the bad guy all of a sudden because they stop feeding you. But it wasn't out of hate. It was out of pure exhaustion. They were tired of feeding somebody that was ungrateful. They were over it. At some point, if you cannot control the way you talk and deal with people, you just probably shouldn't be doing this adult thing. You should probably be living at home with your parents and letting them take care of you, you know, like you're a teenager again, because obviously you are at the age of an adult where you should be able to acknowledge those kind of things. You should be able to change those kind of things. But if you cannot let your personality, your temper, your anger, whatever it may be, if you cannot control that, why are you trying to have adult conversations? You know, somebody once told me that they wanted to be treated like an adult, but they continue to be a child with their personality and their, how do I say this, with their the way they go through life. You cannot be wanting to be treated like an adult if you act like a child every time something doesn't go your way. When you have the mindset of a child and the temper of a child, you're going to get treated like a child. You want people to treat you like an adult, you have to act like an adult and show them you're an adult. If you can't do that, why are we even having that conversation? I don't understand how people think it's okay to want to be treated like an adult, but you keep acting childish. Y'all have to grow up sometime. It's too many of y'all out here at this grown age that don't know how to be an adult simply because you don't like your feelings getting hurt. Get over it. Grow up. Your feelings are going to get hurt every day, B, over something. Learn to deal with it in a healthy way. You don't get to act like a child and then turn around and say, well, I'm 25, I'm 30 something, I'm this and that. You need to talk to me and treat me like I'm an adult. I'm sorry, like a what? Do you know how an adult acts and operates? Nothing like you have, Ben. I don't have to treat you like anything. I don't have to do anything but grow old and die. You know what I mean? That's about it. That's about it. You know? But again, you know, it comes out of pure exhaustion and y'all try to blame it on the fact that they wasn't trying to help you grow. Yeah, all right. You can fight that battle yourself internally or go see a therapist. Really get some therapy. Please get some therapy. Here's where it gets heavy, though. Because once that hand pulls back, you start noticing everything you ignored. Now you miss the consistency from that person. Now you miss the effort that they put in and day out to show you how much they cared and loved you. Now you miss the little things they did that were just there to make sure your day and your life went better. You miss it all. Or the stuff you used to overlook. Now it feels irreplaceable, right? But the problem is regret usually shows up after the opportunity is gone, right? And apologies, you know how apologies are. They don't always fix damage that was done repeatedly. It's like beating a dead horse. Yeah, you can apologize, but I heard that apology already. I don't want that. My favorite thing to tell people is when you go on your apology tour, leave me out of it. I've already heard enough of them. I'm good. I'm good. Or trying to get it back, right? Now let's talk about something real. Let's talk about something a little deeper on this topic. What happens when you try to fix it after they've already checked out? Let's talk about that because that's very important for some of y'all. Very important. You start communicating better all of a sudden. You start acting right all of a sudden. And then you start showing effort out of nowhere that was wanted to be asked of you in the beginning. But now they don't respond the same. And it confuses you on why they are not responding the same. It confuses you so much that sometimes you start to get a little irritated or angry or upset with it. If I can be right with that, right? You start getting really irritated with it. And understand this. Just understand this for a second. You're trying to give them what they were begging you for when they still had hope. That's what you're at this point now where you're like, you know what? I see they didn't gave up. Let me see if I can fight enough to bring them back into it. And let me see if I can keep it going. Okay. But now they're just protecting their peace. They are just protecting their peace. So basically, them protecting their peace looks like this, like, oh, well, I see you trying the effort, but, you know, I'm still going about my day like I normally do. I'm still moving on and trying to do better in life, you know, like, but I can't give you that same energy I gave you yesterday or last week or last month because you didn't appreciate that effort when I gave it to you. So now that you're trying, that's great and all, but how do I know that you're for sure about this? I say one thing all the time to people that when you are dealing with somebody and there's a habit that they have not broken or it's a very bad habit they need to fix or change, it takes you to consistently have that change behavior for at least 2 years, at least 2 years of consistent change behavior before that person will start to believe you have changed. So if you feel like that 2 years is too long for you to consistently change and show better behavior, that's why you're not getting nowhere. Because if you feel like, well, I shouldn't have to do that, I shouldn't have to, well, you shouldn't, which is why I'm creating my distance and stepping away from you. So don't get mad at me for that, because if you can't hold down and do what needs to be done to show me you're willing to change and have that behavior updated and done right, don't be mad at me for walking away from you. You're not about to half-ass the work I want you to do just to get what you want, because it's not about what you want no more, because now you want me to stay around. So the ball is in my park. So you have to do whatever I want you to do within reason for you to be able to show me that you can get past that and overlook it and be a better person. And if I need you to be consistent for 2 years, God damn it, it's 2 years it goes. It is what it is. And if you don't believe me, look it up. Y'all got Google, look it up. I don't come out here and just talk out the side of my neck. I do my research on everything I talk about. So that way, when I do say something or you want me to reference it, I can tell you exactly where I got it from. Hey, argue with the facts. Well, you can't, but you can try. Argue with yourself, because the facts already show the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. But the lesson in all of that, what I'm trying to get to with that is value people. Value them while you still have access to them, right? Because once somebody detaches, you're not competing with another person. You're competing with their decision to no longer deal with you. That's what you're competing with. And that's a competition that you will rarely ever win, because you are winning in a competition, or you're trying to win a competition where you've already shown them that you can't do nothing but be inconsistent and inconsiderate. That's what you've already shown them. You're in competition with that, trying to do better. It's not going to work out for you. You have to choose if you want to grow or if you want to remain in the same kind of cycle you've been in. So here's my question with saying that. Are you going to grow from this, or are you going to repeat it? Right? Because life will keep sending you good people until you learn how to treat them. I'm going to be honest with you, until you learn how to treat them. And if you don't learn how to treat them in the way they want to be treated, you're going to keep losing them left to right, left to right. No matter what, the same way, the same exact way. You're going to keep losing them. The reason why I feel like we need to dive deeper into this subject and talk more to it is because I hear a lot of people out there, and fellas, I hear y'all, man, loud and clear. I hear y'all loud and clear, that are just saying, I don't want this person to give me the world. I don't want them to praise me. I don't want them to kiss the ground I walk on. I just want some acknowledgement, appreciation, and consistency in change behavior, because we can do better and we should be able to do better. I hear these men say so much we, that it's crazy to know that even when they see they not the issue, they feel like that as a unit, we can still do better. Fellas, I get it. And I'm sorry we have to go through things like this. But what I will say is we just have to continue to do better and be better. We have to lead by example for a reason. That's why it goes back to about a year or two ago. I had a show talking about how a lot of these men are out here trying to play tit for tat with the women. And it's all like, but we were meant to lead. We were meant to be natural problem solvers. We weren't meant to play tit for tat. So when you doing all of this, and yeah, I understand that sometimes these women in your life are running you through it or taking you through the ringer, but why are we trying to match the energy when we were built to de-escalate the energy, grow, and make the situation better, right? And solve the problem, solve the issue. So I think this goes back to it. Like, we shouldn't be out here trying to go tit for tat. We should be out here trying to, either you want to grow or you don't. You don't want to grow? Cool. I've tried to do my best. Please have the best life you can have. I'm going to just distance myself from you because it's not healthy for me. I don't think y'all should be trying to go back and forth with these women trying to prove a point. Like, I get it, and I understand that sometimes you just got something to say or it has to be said. But, bro, like, let it go. Let it go. There's no way we win that argument. We could be completely valid with everything we have to say, but because you chose to go back and forth about it instead of just laying out direct boundaries and guidelines, it's going to look like you were trying to prove a point a little too much. So you kind of lose out on trying to win. you can't go to these women trying to win a conversation. You're supposed to go to them like you're trying to create an understanding so that you can both be better. And some of y'all don't see that, and that's why we're having some of these issues we have. I'm gonna hold y'all accountable too. Yes, there are a lot of my men out there where y'all are doing y'all thing. Shout out to y'all. Y'all being accountable. Y'all understanding some things need to change on your end too. Maybe it's the way you talk or approach to these people, but you got to change something. Shout out to y'all for realizing that, because it's not a tough battle to sit up there and say, hey, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one need to do the work. Maybe it's my fault. It's not easy to say that, but the fact that you can acknowledge it, work on it, and do better at it, I'm proud to see it. It's not a lot of people that can do that. It's not a lot of people that can sit up there and take that for granted. And actually take that for granted. A lot of people that get to sit up there and take that accountability and hold themselves to that standard. It's not a lot of people that'll be able to do that without somebody sitting them down and pointing them in their face and saying, you need to pay attention to this, and this is what's going on. This is how you. Some people need to be told exactly what to do. For the fellas that can have that self-awareness, great job. Appreciate y'all more than you think. Now again, or reel that back in because I went a little off topic, but sorry there. Sometimes closure doesn't come from a conversation. We know that, right? Sometimes closure isn't going to be a conversation. It comes from a change in behavior, if you ask me. From realizing they don't call like they used to. Man, I used to talk to them every day at 3:00, and now I hear from them like once a week. What's going on? You know, maybe they'll call me tomorrow. It's cool. Or they don't care like they used to, which means if I tell them something happened, they don't give me that same excitement like, oh, what was going on? Or it's like, oh, what is it? You know, or they don't show up like they used to. So let's say it's birthday parties or it's events or things like that, whatever the case may be. Let's say you're an event host and they showed up to every event you had hosted, but they stopped doing so. It can look different in many ways, but you have to realize that that's their way of, you know, kind of pushing back, falling back. Because the hardest truth to it is they didn't stop because they wanted to. We all know that, right? They didn't stop because they just woke up and said, you know what? I no longer want to give the same effort and efficiency that I gave before. I no longer want to put the same energy into this person that I did because I just don't want to. No, they stopped because they had to. Because being there for you was costing them too much of themselves. They were losing themselves because they were feeling like, as much as I try to do or be there for this person, they don't appreciate it. They don't care for it. They're not acknowledging it. They don't even want to see it because they're so caught up in themselves that it doesn't matter who's affected around them. My thing about it is, when you are that toxic to people around you and yourself, you have to look at your life and say, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? How do I grow? What do I need to do to grow? Okay. Because when you start getting off the rail, you are doing that, like, you are damaging everything in your environment. So if you're a parent, your kids got to deal with that. If you got a spouse, your spouse have to deal with that. Let's say if it's at work, your coworkers and colleagues got to deal with that. You are damaging your environment because you choose to not grow. When was growth a bad thing? When do we wake up and decide that growing is going to make me a bad person? When do we wake up and decide and say, hey, staying stagnant is the new norm. I don't need to grow anymore. I'm comfortable here. We know that everything about growth is uncomfortable. That's why it's called growth, because you've never been there before. But you want to stay comfortable and change at the same time? That's hypocrisy. It's not going to work. How can you grow if you want to stay the same? You can't be comfortable and grow. It's not going to work. Sorry that you got to get out your comfort zone and be a different person for a time, a while. Sorry you got to learn to be comfortable in a new element of yourself. I'm sorry that you got to grow every single day and be a better person. My bad. That's life. That's how it is. I never knew it was a problem to want somebody to do better and be better. It amazes me to see the amount of excuses that can be used when you're trying to get people to be a better version of themselves. I love the fact that it may have taken people around me for me to notice it, but I love that people were able to call me out on my bullshit. I love that people were able to call me out and say, hey, you need to work on this. Hey, you see this? This is pretty destructive. It can harm you here and here if you don't fix it. But if you want to, you're only going to end up right here instead. I love that people feel like they can do that and come to me and say, hey, you need to change or it's not going to work out for you. Or at least not the way you want it to anyway. You need to be a better individual. Otherwise, you're going to be going backwards and bringing everybody down with you. You have to. If you cannot wake up and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to work on the smallest thing today to be better. Man, what are we doing out here? What are we really doing? I know we get comfortable. I know it's a great feeling to stay there because we're used to everything around it, but we're not meant to be there. We're meant to evolve. Like as humans, we've done nothing but evolve over time. Regardless of what you say, we've done nothing but evolve over time. At one point, the radio was only on a freaking radio player. You had to have an actual radio boombox or something to listen to it. And it was, all you could do is hear them. Now look at today's times. You can watch and listen at the same time. You can stream from other places. There's so many different things that evolved in our time frame from when radio first came into existence, right? We evolve on a daily basis, and some of y'all choose to say, you know what? I'm not evolving today. I'm going to be the same person I was yesterday, plus more bullshit. Why is that okay? How is that okay? When did anybody tell you that was the thing to do? I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. But to me, that's just not fair to anybody around. That's not fair for you to sit up there and tell yourself, I'm not going to be a better person. So when you people that's trying to walk away from you because they're just over it and they're done trying to feed you, remember you bit them first. And I'm sure you bit them more than once before they walked away. So that hand is trying to feed you so much effort, knowledge, appreciation, whatever it may be, and you just ignore it because you angry, you upset, whatever the case may be, you're entitled. Cool. But when those consequences start popping up like bad habits, remember you warranted that. You wanted that to happen. Instead of you doing better and being better, you thought going down the same road would lead you to new places. And unfortunately, unlike me, if you doing the same thing, the same bad habit, you in the roundabout, my boy, you going in circles. You ain't doing nothing different. You're doing the same thing that you've been doing from the jump. Let's be real. Let's be honest, right? Hey, you may not want to hear, you may not want to believe it, or you may not want to acknowledge it, but that's the truth. Entitlement is very dangerous to you and anybody around you. Because again, the only thing you're truly entitled to is your name. But if you feel like you're entitled to somebody feeding you without you showing any appreciation or acknowledgement or reciprocating that same thing, maybe in a different way, what world you living in? What reality are you in where that's the actual truth? Because to me, that ain't no reality. That's a fantasy that you want to keep going. And we know all about fantasies, right? They're only in TVs and movies and on the internet. You know, that's all. So repeat this with me. I will not wait for loss to teach me appreciation. I will recognize effort while it still is being given. I will not ignore what matters until it disappears. I will take accountability for how I show up in people's lives. I will grow from my mistakes instead of repeating them. I will become someone who values people in real time, not in hindsight. And most importantly, I will understand that once something real is gone, it may not ever come back the same if it comes back at all. Okay? I just want y'all to realize that people are out here breaking their backs for y'all, whether that could be a coworker, a friend, a spouse, no matter what it is, to make sure they can be there and support you. And if you cannot accept that kind of love, it's okay. Maybe you need time to, but don't keep damaging the person trying to help you because you don't understand the realities of the situation. It is what it is. But if you do understand the realities and you still choose to go about it the way you've always gone about it, with disrespect, violence, aggression, whatever the case may be, then understand the consequence to that is that person exiting your life or maybe stepping back to a different role in your life because they just feel like they don't belong there. Hey, to each his own. We all grown. You're going to choose to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that those consequences that you are dealing with were from the choices that you made. Okay. And we all make them. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. We all take L's, but they're lessons, not losses. Okay. Lessons, not loss, or lessons, not a loss. But I appreciate y'all again for coming out with me again on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon and speaking with me. I'll catch y'all again next week, which we'll follow up a little bit more in this one, and go from there. But I'll talk to y'all again next week on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. So again, peace, love, and hair grease. I'll catch y'all next week. A B.